So, that being said, welcome to the podcast. My co host today is Wajeeh, the gay lion from Minneapolis, Minnesota, Saudi Arabian geopolitical and Gulf states analyst and expert, and the
Thank
fastest rising in world politics, which is great. And this podcast is still number 10 in world politics overall. Waj is the number one fastest rising guy in world politics, and someday he will catch up to me. But
That's right.
let me tell you, some of the people we're blowing by, I would never have imagined. They're like, very famous journalists and big podcasts. But even worse, some of the top 10 are really horrible people. Right? So crazy people with conspiracy theories. So we've got a lot of work to do. What do you say, Waj?
I say that thank you for everyone that's come to support us. We wouldn't be here without you guys. It is very interesting to compete against conspiracy theorists while we're like giving facts. But
Mhm.
if you want to see more of what we do, just like, subscribe, and share. You don't need to become a paid subscriber. If you really like the content we put out, consider becoming a paid subscriber. It pays the bills. It helps us do what we do full time, so you don't have to do it full time. Happy Mother's Day again. And just know that we wouldn't be here again without you guys. Thank you for giving me the mic, Malcolm.
You're welcome. And with that said, Jacob Kaarsbo, Danish intelligence officer extraordinaire, usually follows us. However, he is at an event with his son, who is a professional soccer player and fashion model, stunning, good-looking young Danish man, as all his family are, because, they're Scandinavian. So we are looking forward to hearing from him tomorrow. But for today, you got us, right? The Arab crew. And we will take good care of you. That being said, let's go over. Well, first off, we have some traditions we'd like to have here. We know it will be a slow day because it's Mother's Day and it's Sunday, and none of you should even be here. But that's okay. We're going to buff you up. Wajeeh, what do you got in the way of coffee mugs, bro? I know you got your hats.
I got people sending me mugs coming on the way, so
I know. And not just your admirers, your friends. So
yes.
you need to up your mug game. If I showed you my mug rack, I have 2 mug racks. One with 26 mugs and another one, my military one, has like 16. And I've got cups laying around everywhere. In your whole career, you collect them. So today, I am sporting the International Spy Museum mug from Washington, D.C., and that's a good one. So that being said, let's go on to the casualty count from Al Jazeera today. And
It's
what we're going
behind.
to do is let's try to get a short episode today because not a lot is going on. Some significant things have gone on, but let's get people out to go see their mas and go have a nice Mother's Day. How about that?
I don't mind that idea at all. Let me I have so in terms of the death toll, what we really need to pay attention to is mostly just Lebanon, where
Mhm.
the death toll has increased to 25
Mhm.
within the last few days, and 2 of those are children. We also know that the number of displaced people in Lebanon have reached 500,000 people,
Mhm.
and to some estimates, and
Mhm.
and that just there's a direct correlation between the number of people injured and
Mhm.
the number of people killed in Lebanon, specifically because Lebanon is behind in its infrastructure. They've
Mhm.
already had shortages in electricity, shortages in gas, shortages in government services before the war.
Mhm.
Nevertheless, during the war, so yeah, Lebanese people are not doing too well. And that's mostly it in regards to the casualty count. There's nothing new. I can set up the here things that I could show you the
No,
oil
no,
gas
it's
price.
Oil gas prices. Good, because we're going to talk a lot about oil this morning. I have several significant activities related to oil. So, what's going on? Is peace broke out in our time? Is oil collapsing again, or is it skyrocketing? Because you know what? I can't figure it out anymore. And it's still
It's
going up.
up 60 cents.
Yeah, on West Texas Intermediate, I'm a little surprised. I think that that's going up much slower because people in Wall Street, and which is where most of the West Texas intermediary is, they're hedging their bets. Whereas Brent North Sea crude, they're not playing games. That thing was at like 97 at one point. Now it's back over 100, 101 plus $1.23 in the last 24 hours. That's a lot of money. Murban crude is coming up also. But as we want to caution all of you, that is futures oil, not physical oil. Physical oil is the oil that actually exists in barrels or on ships that people are buying on the piers, and they're paying up to $150 or more.
Up to
Okay.
200.
Oof, ooh, girl, that is money. And that kind of money can lead to shortages, which is why today's notes are significantly about oil. We're going to discuss three major components. One, insignificant activities. I'm going to show you this chart because it's important for you to know there is a report that the world oil inventory right now here is collapsing. Whoops, let me go here. This is the
Wow.
chart of the on hand oil inventories from 2020 during COVID. You can see during COVID, it spiked because they were still pumping oil, but the usage was low. So they filled a lot of national reserves. After COVID ended, it started being used a lot more, blah, 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 blah. And then pre 2024 to 2025, there was a big boost in oil reserves. And boom, the war happens. This is where we are now, off a cliff. And that's the 2 months since this war started. We have reached a cliff. I like the way that they describe it. Operational stress level. The operational stress level on oil was reached in June 2026. What happened in June 2026, Wajeeh? Anything of geopolitical significance? Do you recall?
Uh,
The 12-day
June
war?
is coming. June is coming up.
The
You,
12-day
you mean
war.
2020? You mean
I'm
2025?
sorry, 2025. That's right. I'm sorry. This is 2026. So, they had projected the operational stress level where things would get bad would have been in June 2026, and that they will reach their floor, the bottom, right? The operational floor level. Look at this definition is the minimal level required to keep pipelines functioning and refineries operating. And they project we are going to hit that basement in September of this year. Pipelines and refineries will go empty. Empty.
Uh,
So,
they're already getting empty.
Wajeeh, is that bad?
Yeah, that is very, very bad.
Okay.
That's horrendously bad. That's
Okay.
bad on the level of starvation. That's bad on the level of no more electricity. That's bad on the level of countries will start telling people to not use as much water. Bad as countries are not going to be able to farm. Bad as countries are on, like, if you understand what flows through the Strait of Hormuz, and then if you understand what the world needs from that, your whole chain line of the global economy you can imagine to be dismantled. And
Mhm.
before that chain line gets dismantled, each country that supports us by selling their products directly to the United States is a consumer economy and is a service economy. It's no longer a mass production economy.
Right.
and we get most of our products from Europe, most of our products from China. 10% of our oil used to come from Saudi Arabia, and you're like, why? Only the United States only uses 10% of Saudi, like of its oil from Saudi Arabia. Why should we worry about that? Because you get everything from outside of the United States. You're
Right.
not an independent economy anymore. You are dependent on the world system, and you are dependent on the world economy. And if they are struggling and they cannot meet their needs, then you are struggling and you can't meet your needs. And
Yeah.
as long as we live in that bubble, this is going to keep happening. Americans, you said this before. Americans don't want to know geography unless they're affected by it.
Mm-mm. And then look, they didn't know what a straight STRAIT was until recently, and they're still spelling it with a G. So, now they know the Strait of Hormuz is somewhere over there, right near Iran. But this is important. Listen, I just want to read this. By the way, this assessment came from J.P. Morgan Commodities Research. This isn't just
Massive.
something we picked up off the floor. Note: total visible inventories are drawn from primary storage and secondary storage, such as distributors and wholesalers. The estimated inventories assume there is no resolution to this war in June and demand reduction at 5.6 million barrels per day. Right? And what month are we in? We're in May? May. So they are assuming in 3 weeks. Wait, what's the date? Today's the 9th? 10th?
10.
Oh, jeez. 3 weeks. They're assuming we will reach the operational stress level, which is halfway down the cliff to the rocks in 3 weeks. Okay?
And is that for the military or for the U.S. economy?
No, that's for the entire global inventory of oil.
Okay. Yep.
That's known as not good. And that's what that chart is showing, is we will reach that operational stress level in 3 weeks. Okay? And then in September, if it is not resolved in 3 weeks, resolved is open, back to what it was. Come September, we will reach the operational floor, the minimal level required to keep pipelines functioning and refineries operating. This is known as terrible, awful, no good, bad.
Yes.
Refineries will shut down. Oh, Malcolm, what do they do in refineries? They process oil to make gasoline, kerosene, other chemicals, diesel. Oil isn't those products. Oil is just effing oil until it hits a refinery. And when a refinery shuts down, shit happens. Oh, by the way, did anyone notice that 2 refineries in the United States blew up in the last week? One in Louisiana, I can't recall where the other one was, just in time. And guess what that refinery that blew up in Louisiana made?
Mm.
Aviation fuel.
Well, is that coincidental to you by any chance?
I should start listing out my T-shirts that I'm going to start selling when my memoir comes. Nance's Law. No, really. For years, I've been using this thing that I stole from the intelligence community, but I call it Nance's Law of Intelligence Kismet. Kismet is fate when you meet together. Yeah, coincidence takes a lot of planning. All right? That refinery just happened to blow up and catch fire last week, just
I
when
only
we
hear
needed
that
it the
from
most.
spies. I hear that a lot from spies, not directly just you. Coincidence takes a lot of planning. You're not the first person to say that. And
I adopted it decades ago as Nance's Law. So you're quoting Nance's Law. Other spies are quoting me. Nance's Law is never defeated. Now, there used to be Ian Fleming's dictum. Ian Fleming, when he was an intelligence officer, as a matter of fact, last week when I was in London, I stayed at the hotel where Ian Fleming did Operation Mincemeat, which is Royal Horse Guards, and it's part of the Ministry of Defense. Then I went across the street to the super insanely swanky raffles at the old War Office, and they charged me just to look at the building. It's $1,100 a night at that place. Yeah. Okay. So Ian Fleming also worked there. Ian Fleming had a thing called Fleming's dictum. Once is happenstance, twice is coincidence, three times is enemy action. We got rid of that shit long ago. No such thing as coincidence. Coincidence takes a lot of planning. And in this case, we are 3 weeks from getting to the operational stress level where after that, it's nothing. We're at that point where in Roadrunner, where the coyote goes over the cliff and he starts paddling with his feet in the air. That's where we are right now.
Wow.
That's where we are right now. And come June, 3 weeks, we're going to be at that point where there's the puff of air and he falls. Okay. And come September, we're going to hit the rocks down at the bottom. But if this thing isn't turned on by June, we're hitting the rocks in September, no matter what. Yay! Thank you, JP Morgan.
What have I been telling you guys? What have I been telling you?
This is a catastrophe, to quote Jon Stewart from The Daily Show.
Mm.
Okay, that
I
was
love
number
Jon
one.
Stewart.
Saudi Aramco, on the other hand, because of the emergency pipeline, the Yanbu pipeline, has managed to stave off their economic disaster. And in fact, Aramco, Saudi Arabian oil company, has made, because of very high oil levels, a net profit in Q1 of this year was up 26% from the pre-war. Now, just get this. They're not shipping anything by tanker. Everything's going across the Yanbu pipeline. And they managed to turn a 26% profit, even though they're exporting less oil because everyone's paying beaucoup d'argent, right? Lots of money for that oil. How much did they make in 1 quarter, Malcolm? They made, don't forget, in the previous quarter, it was all tankers, right? And pipelines. Now, with just that one pipeline, they made $33.6 billion in the first 60 days of this war.
Do you have the number for the previous year during this time?
No. All it says is it's up 26% profit. Not previous year. Wajeeh, that's this quarter, and this quarter isn't over for 3 weeks. Right? 26% less in the pre-war with maximum oil tankers going out. And now, just with the Yanbu pipeline going to the Red Sea and no tankers going out, they made $33.6 billion, 26% more money because the price of oil went from $68 per gallon to over $100 a gallon. You know what? The Saudis might be sitting around their little D1 going, wait a minute, this whole stop the war thing. Maybe we don't do this.
There's another thing to take into consideration that I didn't hear in that report. I need to do another research on this, honestly.
Go ahead.
Because what I'm hearing is that so before the war, the cost of production for a barrel of oil for Saudi Arabia to make a profit, to break even, they need to have $90 a barrel. At the moment, the Saudi government, because they got attacked here and there, and they have some shortages in some of the factories, the cost of oil has increased another $10. So for the Saudi government to make a profit or break even, I mean, then the barrel of oil needs to be at $100 a barrel. Mm-hmm. So I genuinely don't understand how they're making money.
A lot of this isn't being made off of futures, man. A lot of this is being made off of spot. Tanker shows up in Yanbu, they're paying $200. right? This isn't, I'm going to come to Yanbu in about 4 weeks in a month with a tanker. So
You
listen,
make
I
a
have
good
it
point.
right here. I have it right here on CNBC. Saudi Aramco Q1 profit jumps 26% as key pipeline reaches capacity amid Iran war. Now, if I was Iran, you know what I'd be thinking? I got 100 fucking drones for that pipeline,
Hmm.
right?
They already tried to target it before.
They hit it. They hit it twice. The Saudis
Hmm.
were like, "Oh, 50,000 Pakistani workers worked all night on that thing, right? Okay, here's what they say. The profit figure beat analyst forecasts. Aramco's east-west pipeline reached maximum capacity of 7 million barrels per day in the first quarter. Iran's blockade of the Strait of Hormuz has resulted in the loss of nearly 1 billion barrels of oil and gas. It says adjusted net income for Q1 2026 stood at 33.6 billion compared, here is what you wanted to know, 26.6 billion for the same period last year, right? The Q1 figure was a 34% increase on the 25.1 billion profit. Wow, it's 34% over the previous quarter, Q4. I mean, they making money, baby. The East-West pipeline, which reached maximum capacity of 7 million barrels of oil per day, has proven itself as a critical supply artery. Trust me, Saudi Arabia is going to get rid of the Strait of Hormuz. They're going to start building pipelines out the ass. And if they were smart, they'd start building those things under the sand, right? Build a permanent concrete canal through the country, put 2 or 3 pipelines on it, cover that shit up, and go all the way. Don't even
They're
bring
already
it to
talking about
Yanbu.
it.
Bring that shit up to Aqaba, or bring it to Jeddah, Yanbu, connect up into Jordan. Don't connect to Israel because that's just going to get you attacked. Wow, but I'm just
They
saying,
they already they already started talking about a pipeline that goes from Saudi Arabia to Iraq, from Iraq to Syria, from Syria.
no, don't bring anything through Iraq. It's just too unstable. You know what you could do and make really big money? Pipe off of that, go up towards Aqaba, go under, hit the Sinai, run it up to Sinai, and go to El Arish. And
North.
suddenly El Arish will be the Yanbu of the Mediterranean, but the Egyptians will be like, but we want everybody to use the Suez Canal. You're going to be making so much bank off of a place like El Arish. I've been to El Arish,
Mhm.
which is on the coast. Why bother? Right? Maybe the Suez Canal is a little outdated for what you want in oil terminal needs, and you F the Israelis in their crazy secret plan to build a giant pipeline up there in Ashkelon, where I've been. And the Saudis do the same thing. They can be wow. I think there will be a revolution in pipeline building and technology. I know the Emirates got to be thinking we're going across the Rubah Khali, the empty quarter, and we're going straight down to Salalah, Oman, with 4 simultaneous pipelines, and the Strait of Hormuz will be nullified. And best part, even when it's not nullified, it's an emergency pipeline like the Yanbu pipeline. So there you go. Let's move on. Well, otherwise, we're going to be on this all day. India, on the other hand, has shifted its oil consumption purchases to the Omani coast, Corsican, Muscat, and Salalah. They're not even playing with it anymore. Whoever comes up with a barrel of oil down there at $200 a barrel, they getting paid, right? They're not waiting for ships to come through anymore. Okay, other significant activities. A bulk carrier off of Qatar was struck by a loitering munition last night. It was not very big. It was a bulk ships carrier, so that could be grain storage, containers, whatever, grain storage. And it did not, it wasn't severely damaged. A loitering munition is very small, and the purpose of it, of course, is to orbit around, check you out, and then come down and hit you. So that might have been just the IRGC going, hey, I just want to remind all of you that we can reach out and touch you, but it wasn't a significant strike. Speaking of Qatar, a Qatari liquid natural gas carrier left the Persian Gulf yesterday using the multipass IRGC passway. So the Qataris are like, we cannot keep these damn ships in the Gulf anymore. LNG was our lifeline. Now they are paying the $2 million and using multipass.
Yep.
Okay. The United States Navy, on the other hand, the ships that were being attacked that were Iranian, that were empty, were all in the vicinity of Chabahar, which is on the outside of the Strait of Hormuz, the eastern side. And these ships were essentially at anchor. They were not running the blockade. It appears that the strategy was not to stop blockade runners, but to damage Iranian ships. 3 of them were hit with bombs or rockets. One of them is leaking oil. They were empty, but they still have fuel oil on board. And one of them was on fire all yesterday. So, bomber dolphins. We have to talk about that. So the United States strategy doesn't appear to be to just damage them, but to sink them. Yes, Wajeeh.
I talk a lot about how
My
the
little
Saudi crown
Prince.
prince is is really pissed off with Trump administration.
Is he?
I talk a lot.
Is he really?
Yes, yeah, kind of.
Are they saying
Is
that in the Arab press?
yes.
Hmm.
They're saying that in the Arab press, especially if it's not Al Arabiya.
Okay. Well, Al Arabiya is that's their channel.
Yes, but the thing they're most upset about is one, the United States did not take actionable decisions to protect the Gulf nations from the Iranian attacks. Did the U.S. have the capabilities of protecting these Gulf nations before the war and during the war? And did they leave them hanging on purpose?
You know what? I think in the old days, the Norman Schwarzkopf, when we invaded Kuwait, seriously, to get the Iraqis out of there, the Gulf states were like, wow, the United States are with us. They are serious about our defense. In this
And you served
particular
in that
war,
war.
I served in all them damn wars. The only war I haven't served in is this one. Desert Storm, the Iraq oil tanker wars, all of them. And we were very serious about our relationship with them and defending those nations. And I had a grand old time liberating Kuwait. I was all over Kuwait. And I even went with what's the name of the crown prince? Not the crown prince, but Prince. I want to say Abdullah bin Zayed, not Zayed.
No.
Saud.
Shit.
He was the minister of defense at that
Saudi Arabia.
later, but he was the commander of the Saudi military forces that took Kuwait City, and I had to go with him. And let me tell you something. Oh, by the way, somebody asked what I'm eating this morning. This is just a little Italian cranberry crostini to go with my ever increasingly cold double espresso. Oh, but anyway, that guy, holy shit. I went into his command post. This is written about in my memoir. No, I'm not still serving. I'm retired. In my memoir, this guy had 3 armored command post vehicles back to back. Then they put a giant tent on it. And I walked into that place, Wajeeh. It was fucking Alibaba's cave. They had laid down Persian carpets everywhere. The walls had carpets all over them. They had the 2 little gahwajis with no shoes on making coffee on the brazier, coffee and tea. And all the command post ramps were down, and you could see the communications equipment. They had a giant map and plot board there, but it was luxurious. It was straight out of Alfa Layla wa Layla. It was straight out of 1001 Arabian Nights. And I walked in, I was like, whoa, we don't have anything like this. This is luxury. I didn't know that the general was one of the top 3 princes in the country. And he would later go on to be the Minister of Defense. And I guess some scandal pushed him out. But my point being that when we did those wars, we were very serious about our relationship with the Gulf states and very professional. Trump is transactional. You bitches need to pay me or I'm not going to help you. Fuck you. I'll sell you shit. And I think they're starting
But
to
the
get
thing
that.
is, we paid you. The thing is, like, we paid you. Like, it's not like we haven't paid you.
Mm-mm-mm.
And the
You bought equipment. Trump got paid. Is that what you're saying? They bought
Yeah.
equipment, but they also bought a relationship which was respectful and serious about defense. They thought they bought Trump as a man. And I said this when he went to Riyadh in that first meeting and with the golden orb. I said, this is the first president they can buy with cash
Yeah.
under the table. And now he's acting like a fucking mafia bitch. And now I think they're just getting it that, hey, wait a minute, alakat, bain al-watanin, the relations between the two countries has to be mutually respectful. Trump hates foreigners. He's probably calling them ragheads in the White House. And
Oh yeah.
I like their money. I like all the stuff that they built. They have gold palaces that are amazing. They bring out camels and shit. People do the saber and the hair dance, but I don't like Arabs. And I think they understand that. But now they need the old Obama, George Herbert Walker Bush, former presidents' relationship where their defense really means something. I don't think it means anything to Donald Trump.
Okay, the second part to my question. Did the United States have all the capabilities to protect the Saudi government, the United Arab government, the Qatari government, the Kuwaiti government, or their assets and or U.S. assets in those countries? Did they have the capabilities to protect them, and
Oh,
did they ignore it on purpose?
That's a great question because here's the answer, and this is where people are going to find themselves and get upset. They didn't even get fucking consulted.
I know. I know.
It was the first they knew of it. Israel was dropping 30 ballistic missiles onto the head of Ali Khamenei. So in a desert storm type war where we did Desert Shield, we fucking flowed everything into the Gulf states, and our entire mission was defend the Gulf states. Desert Shield was serious. And, when the Iraqis made their incursion down into Khafji, we went right up there and started kicking ass. And we included Saudi forces with us, Qatari, Kuwaiti, even the Emiratis. The Saudi general I was with was in charge of the joint Gulf States Arab force. And they fought. They took part in combat. Not this time. This time I was like, hey, so what's for coffee? Iran's under attack by 1,000 bombs. Oh, and, first thing this, Mohammed bin Salman knew about it was when ballistic missiles started landing in Riyadh. Air raid sirens started going off. Now, that is we would have spent months preparing to defend the Gulf states if it had been any other president. Then we would have launched the attack with them. This one's, and this is why Trump Riyadh, Trump Doha, Trump Golf Course Abu Dhabi are not getting built.
Yeah, this could be the nail in the coffin between between the Gulf nations. No, not Trump and the Gulf nations. Between the Gulf nations and the United States.
I don't know.
This could be because these nations, their main priority is Aman, safety and security. Without it, they're worthless to their own people. Without it, they're worthless to the rest of global economy. The only thing they tell us not to go on the street and demand the fall of the government is like, remember the governments before? You had people kidnapping you off of the street. Remember the governments before Saudi Arabia? You couldn't even invest. You would get robbed while you're traveling in the middle. Now, like the whole idea is like, don't worry about it. We will provide you with everything you need. And when the United States does not provide that to them, they're going to look immediately elsewhere. They're not going to wait to look elsewhere because they have to solve that problem now. They can't wait until tomorrow. Their lively income comes from it. Their security comes from it. And if you fuck up with that, then you have fucked up with the relationship that you've had and been building. And this relationship goes before Carter. This goes all the way to to the ship that came to visit Saudi
But
Arabia.
yes, but the relationship we're talking about is a relationship of diplomacy and statecraft. And what's happening now is not diplomacy and statecraft. It's just effing money. And
That's
it's
right.
mafia style relationship money. I got money. Yo, you got money. I need shit. Give me your money, bitch. Right?
Mm.
And they're like, but the Saudis, they really still want that respect and statecraft and honor. And now all they're getting is that great scene from Goodfellas, right? You didn't make your numbers this week. Fuck you, pay me. Your money, your bank didn't deposited your check this week. Fuck you, pay me. Right? You didn't, your strip club had to close because of a fire, and the girls weren't working this week. Fuck you, pay me. That's
Hmm.
Donald Trump's attitude towards them. And now I've been to a lot of D1s where my job was to keep my mouth shut and listen. And then when I was asked my opinion, to give my opinion with respect and dignity. And they were
That's
like,
called
this
the
this guy
that's our rules.
this
That's
guy
exactly
gets
our
it.
rules.
This guy gets it. I had a famous situation that occurred in Libya where understanding of culture and respect needed to happen. And we had these Americans that were supposed to be supporting the Libyan rebels. And they had a big meeting and they were like, we want no American special forces up here. We want no British special forces up here. We don't want any of you guys up here. Right? And then somebody looked at me and they said, you're okay, though.
You're one of the
Because
good guys.
I'm one of the brothers, right? Because I didn't come in there, boom, 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 boom. I will do this. You will do this. You will do that. You
Yeah.
have to live and respect that culture. And Trump is at the point, I think the Saudis are going, this pays no returns now. We're making money because of this war. We'll do that. But Trump Tower Riyadh, oh, we're having a shortfall. We can't do that. Let's not harp on that. I have another topic I want to harp on. Oh,
Let's
sorry,
do
you
it.
guys. I did not. I was sitting here talking while I was supposed to be bringing up the chat. So I'm going to bring up the chat now on Substack. Oh, here it is. I'm going to bring up the chat now on Substack, and you can bring your questions there. Oh, we're on day 74. Today's day 74. Uh-oh. Let me see. U.S.
You didn't write your questions here on your
74.
chat.
I'm doing it right now. That was yesterday's. Write your questions here. And I know some of you, I promised to answer your questions. I will get back to answering your questions. I've been having the worst jet lag. Normally, my jet lag, day 74. Thank you guys. It's up right now. You can go into the chat and post your questions. I will answer them. Yeah. Normally, I have much less jet lag coming from Europe to the United States. But the problem is, because of everything that's going on in this war, I'm getting less sleep. So my clock is still off. Today, I think I may have reset my clock. So please bear with me. And I know a lot of you have been asking me questions about travel. Tell you a little secret here. About 15 years ago, I was the security contributor for Condé Nast Traveler magazine. I would travel around the world doing whatever it is that I was doing, and I would write little tips and hints about security, about going overseas. Here's a hint: don't come to the United States. It sucks. Oh, even I am not even taking advantage of that. Okay, let's go to the next subject. Oh, here's a good question right off the top. Where's the oil
Mm-hmm.
in
The
from Venezuela?
Venezuelan oil. The
It's
Venezuelan oil needs a lot of work.
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You can go first.
Yeah. Tell you what, let's hold on to that because we're not at question and answer. We should be because we're late. Yesterday, the IRGC warned that they will strike a U.S. base in the Gulf states if there is another attack by the United States on another one of its tankers, right? So
Repeat
that
that
could be
again.
interesting. IRGC has warned that if the United States attacks, remember now 4 tankers have been attacked off Charbahar, and they are not being damaged. They're practically, one of them is on fire and has been for 2 days. So that ship is probably a write-off. We're now destroying Iranian tankers.
We still have ceasefire though.
Oh, okay. Somebody has a great Teresa Sylvia. I'll get back to you. Yes, ceasefire. Sure. IRGC says attack another tanker. We're going to blitz another U.S. base, and I already know which base that's going to be. That's going to be Camp Bueling in Kuwait, because then they can use the Iraqi Heshid Shabi popular militia to drop 100 cruise drones into it. Okay. Yesterday, the IRGC did another show of force. We talked about this the other day. 2 days ago, it was 88 boats. 1 day ago, it was 100 boats. Last night, it was 150 fast inshore attack craft. By tomorrow, it'll be 200, because you know what? Everyone's getting their damn boats now, getting their fuel, getting their batteries, getting their outboards lubricated. It's almost like a Trump boat parade now. Right? With a whole bunch of FU Trump signs, which would be funny. All those signs that aren't coming to the United States, kids from China, are now being sent to Iran. And they're doing boat parades to show their strength of the IRGC naval forces.
Well, not only that, because to show the world that we still have many more boats. You say you synced our military. Motherfucker, let me show you. We got 100 more to go.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to questions that we have here. I'm in the chat, and the first question was about Venezuela oil. We already talked a little bit about that. It's being used. Look, it's a giant swimming pool of oil. That money does not directly come to the United States. We're managing it, but don't forget, the nation of Venezuela still exists. So we are not pocketing that oil. We're just sort of we're managing their money.
Not only that, the infrastructure in Venezuela for oil production has been degraded over the last few decades. And in order for them to produce the optimal amount of oil they need to produce and give it to the world, the rest of the global economy needs to take at least 5 more years. So their production capacity is very low. They recently signed a contract with BP. They didn't sign a contract with any US company, but they signed a contract with the British company to come and help them out, take that oil out, because they literally don't have the capability or the capacity to do so.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, I want to read this one. This is from Teresa Sylvia. Do you have any encouragement for my dad? My father is a 90-year-old retired lieutenant commander in the U.S. Navy. He told me yesterday with tears in his eyes, I hope I don't live to see how this ends. It really made me sad, Malcolm. That sounds like what my dad was an old master chief. When George W. Bush got in and started all his fuckery around Iraq, he said the same thing. I want to encourage your dad, though. All right, look, I'm a senior enlisted. My job is to help officers up the chain of command and mentor up and kick ass down, right? He's a lieutenant commander. He knows better. This really requires leadership. And what he should do is focus on the words of Captain Mark Kelly, right? Former astronaut, astronaut, fighter, bomber, pilot, who may be in the running to be president of the United States. So maybe he should try to stick around. But what we need old guys like him to make videos and say, hey, you youngins, start kicking ass and taking names, right? I didn't go into the Navy and live up to the code of honor, courage, and commitment so that you can have a thief in office, right? do something and be proud of the fact that he served during a period of great honor, and we will honor him should he, move on to fair winds and following seas, which I personally, as a senior chief, said, hey, Commander, get off your ass. You got to make it to 100 so that you can go to the next inauguration. All right? Hoo-yah? Hoo-yah.
Oh yeah.
So, that's my salty ass Navy chief speech there. Uh,
I have a
how,
question for you that has
yes.
nothing to do with the war, but has to do everything with maritime.
Mhm.
Recently, there has been a ship floating around with deadly virus, a virus that
Yeah.
we're familiar with. That ship
Hantavirus.
has been, yes, it was denied access to a country. I forgot what it was, but now it's heading to Spain.
It's there. It went to Tenerife this morning.
Could you tell me a little bit about that, if you don't
Yeah,
mind?
let me tell you something. I know a little something about hantavirus because when I wasn't very good, NAFO fellow Woot, um, when I was in the Navy and I was an instructor at the Survival, Evasion, Resistance, and Escape School, our field evasion field was way out in Southern California in the mountains in a place called Warner Springs. And there's a lot of wild field mice out there. And one of the things that we were briefed on is we had to be very careful when we did medical inspections of our students. When we capture our students, we strip them down, right? And the doc goes over them just to make sure none of them got bites by mice or rats. We had a lot of field mice because in that area, hantavirus was prevalent. And hantavirus is known as rat plague, right? It's like bubonic plague for rats. But it's transmissible to humans, but it's very rare transmissible to humans. And once a human gets it, it is airborne. It's transmitted by airborne particles. And yeah, somebody just wrote, Laura K says New Mexico had a lot of that virus because it's wide open and you have lots of field mice and all that stuff. And we were always briefed that it was so rare. It was like one case per year. And almost every one of those cases, it was someone who came from Latin America who lived in an area where mice were prevalent, right? And so when I heard that there was an outbreak on a cruise ship, right, it was quite shocking. But a ship is also known as a petri dish and incubator with a shrimp bar. So once a virus breaks out on that ship, like COVID did, the Trump people during COVID did stupid, crazy shit. They brought
That's right.
those ships back to the United States and took zero precautions. Just like, okay, well, go see a doctor, see you later. And they helped cause the spread of COVID in the United States. When I was way back when I was in my last year in the military, I took a course from the not CDC, it was from the Army, USAMRIID, U.S. Army Medical Infectious Diseases Program, called Biological Weapons and Terrorism. I still have the books and everything, and every once in a while I refer to it. And that was a terrifying course. And it talked about how infecting patient zero can actually get you to spread diseases like smallpox. There was an exercise in the United States in 2015, the year before Trump took office, called, the name escapes me, but what it was an exercise where a terrorist group deliberately infected 2 or 3 of its members with smallpox. And they got on, all they did was fly on airplanes all day. They would just switch from flight to flight to flight to flight and sneeze all over the place. And smallpox infected the United States so quickly in the US, because it took a long time for them to figure it out, that in a month, US hospital system collapsed, where all the doctors and nurses got it. So it was like 10 times what COVID would be. But yeah, smallpox is still in some labs there, Michael Madsen. Thank you. So the point is that you can't take these things as a joke, right? These transmissible viruses are the things that will kill you. If you remember the movie What is it? Contagion. No. Outbreak. Outbreak is a great movie, right? With Cuba Gooding Jr. and what's his name? The name of the actor escapes me. Somebody will bring it up in a moment. But it's about the Army USAMRIID doctors, and there's an outbreak of what is essentially hemorrhagic fever, right? Ebola is a hemorrhagic fever. Dustin Hoffman, thank you very much, Ali. Dustin Hoffman and Cuba Gooding Jr. One, it's an exciting movie. It's a fun, exciting movie. But but you bleed out of every orifice, eyes, mouth, nose, your body liquefies inside. And that's essentially Ebola and other hemorrhagic fevers like Marburg virus. If you read my first book, Terrorist Recognition Handbook, any one of the three editions, edition 1, 2, or 3, we go over all of this extensively as terrorist weapons. But at the beginning of that movie, they have a quote in there, and I can't remember the name of the scientist, but he says the number one threat to the existence of mankind on this planet is the unknown virus. And that's what COVID was. COVID was a novel virus. It came out of nowhere. It was not from a laboratory. And if you watch the movie Contagion with Gwyneth Paltrow and Matt Damon, she's dead in the first 5 minutes of the movie. You're like, hey, Gwyneth Paltrow is dead? Right? That wasn't the point. The point was virus can kill anybody. Right? And she got a virus, which was COVID like, that broke out in the precise way they believe COVID did, which was coming from a pig farm in China, and that a chef handled it without thoroughly washing his hands and got there. It's not a spoiler. That's at the beginning of the movie. You can't watch the movie more than 5 minutes. Matt Damon goes to the hospital to get his wife. She's dead. Right? And you don't see her till the last 2 minutes of the movie showing what happened with this chef. So when she went to China. So virus is bad, right? The number one threat to the continued existence of mankind on this planet. Our problem is we have a stupid government that does not believe in any of this. And we're all going to die if another COVID breaks out. So that being said, let me go back to questions. Jeez
Thank you.
Louise. Thank you, Dustin Hoffman. Hey, somebody used to work at Fort Detrick. Robert Bender, robot Bender. Bender the robot from the cartoon. That's Joint Medical Laboratories, Fort Detrick, Maryland. So, wow, that's great. 2 people died of hantavirus. Oh, why is this thing not follow? It's jumping too much. 2 people died of hantavirus in Mammoth, California last year. Yeah, COVID is really rare, but when it happens in these remote places. I read that the Trumpies just cut hantavirus research off and tore up the pandemic playbook. The pandemic playbook thing is real. They stopped using that in the first COVID in the first administration. They got rid of the pandemic playbook. Why? Because Barack Obama came up with it. Will the rest of the world pressure Iran into opening the Strait of Hormuz soon? That's from Cashflow Collective. No, they can't pressure Iran. Iran can take it. They have to pressure Donald Trump into doing it. Cashflow Collective said, what are the main points of the U.S. one-page memorandum? We discussed that yesterday. It comes down to a 12-year enrichment moratorium. Under Obama, it was 10 years. 10 years. So it's JCPOA plus 2 more years. That's pretty much it. Everything Obama touched, that bastard blew up. That is correct. HCR reported a CIA leak claiming that Iran has 75% of their missile defense. Iran has 75% of its pre-war missile launchers and 70% of its missiles. And the Iranian government's going, no, it's 120% of our missiles because now we're remanufacturing them and we dug out a lot and we're getting parts from Russia. So there's that. And we are seeing missile components come from Russia. Last thing, last question. How serious is the risk of physical fuel shortages, rationing, broader system collapse
Yeah,
if the Strait of Hormuz remains closed into June, September? Well, I
very scary.
remember 1973. I was 12 years old, and my dad was furious because he could only get gas every other day if his license plate matched up with the numbers that were picked on the lottery. And they did it every night on the lottery, like, picking the balls out of the machine that goes up. And they would pick it up. Rabbi Bender remembers it. And it goes, the number for license plates ending in 3, 4, 9. That's it. Tomorrow, those license plates can wait in line for 2 or 3 hours and pick up gasoline, 1 tank. And then that was it. That's when rationing started back then. And that wasn't even because there was a shortage of oil. It was because the Saudis turned the pumps off
That's right.
deliberately
The
to
United States was
exercise,
supporting
to
the
exercise their power. Go ahead. The
the
73
the
war.
United States was the 73 war. The United States was supporting the Israeli war with the Arab war. The Arab-Israeli war, and the king at the time, King Faisal, said, "We are ready to go back to our tents and dates. We just got out of them. It's not that hard
Mm.
for us to go back." The Saudis are way lean, like they're way softer now. They're not as tough as they
Oh,
used to be.
look, they go to their tents on weekends, right? They go out into the desert. All they want to do is have cookout kebabs, dune bashing with their cars, right? Up and down the
That's
sand dunes.
right.
I went out every week. I went out every weekend with the Abu Dhabi Overland Club. And that's all these guys were. Hafla or Sag, right? Drive their cars. Okay, that's it for the questions. I want to do a little administration. If you're watching this on YouTube, you are too late. Please subscribe, like and subscribe on YouTube to follow this. This comes out a little later, but come over to Substack because I have identified where we lost the 500 followers on Substack that brought us down from a high of 97,000 down to 6,800. It happened on the 14th of April. There was a big die-off, which was a few days after the ceasefire was announced. Everybody thought,
That's it.
"Halas, the war is
Alas, that's
over.
it. It's
War
over.
is over. I don't need to watch the Warcast anymore." I would like to point out to you that that was a month ago. So please hit that hearts button before you go to get this thing blazing up on the algorithm. Go up to that gray rondelle. I'm pressing it now. That says Black Man Spy. That's scrolling across the top. If you are on your app, and press it, and you'll see my name and Wajeeh will pop up from the bottom. If you are not following us, please just follow us right now. Doesn't cost you anything. As much as I love my paid subscribers, and we're going to be having some paid subscriber specials here, including somebody has asked me, we have this annual program for elites, what we call Circle of Spies subscribers, who want a tour of my house. And I got a nice, I have a house the kind of house which is decorated by my wife, where, how can I put it? This is what happens when you're stuck on a submarine with like 3 back issues of Architectural Digest and an English copy of Country Living. And you're like, I want one of these swanky houses. So but people want tours of, they were asking what's on my shelves, all my crazy coffee cups, my Saddam poster pictures and stuff that none of you will see unless you come on a private tour of the house. And a lot of people ask me a lot about travel. I just did I had a private tour of the raffles at the old War Office in London. Because it's associated with the Special Operations Executive. I am an amateur historian of the OSS and the Special Operations Executive, the SOE, and the origins of the SAS. I actually do a tour every year in Egypt. It's a very, very high end tour where we meet at Cairo Airport, and I take you all over to like Heliopolis Cemetery, Gray Pillars, the command post for the generals there. And then we go to Mina House at the pyramids and Alexandria, El Alamein. Then I take you out to a city called a village called Siwa out in the western desert of Egypt, which is
Beautiful
where the
village.
SAS and the Long Range Desert Group was their headquarters in World War II. And we do briefings all day, and you learn like all their commando tactics and how they used their sun compasses. And we go dune bashing out in the Wajeeh. You got to come on this trip with me, bro. We go dune bashing and out in the desert, and we have like little picnics. But now we're incorporating. You actually have to dress like the SAS in World War II. So have you seen that TV show Rogue Heroes? SAS Rogue Heroes, about the origins of the SAS. We go to all of those places, all the bases they attacked, and we actually set you up at night. I've been to the Raffles, Singapore, by the way, and I have had Singapore slings at the Long Bar. So somebody mentioned that. Yeah, baby. But we go out there and we actually give you duties that they had. We teach you how to start fires. We have an former SAS commando who's there. Most of the guys who come on this program are old SAS guys. The last program we did in November, we had two civilians, and their fathers were long-range desert group guys from World War II, and everyone else was former SAS in their 70s and their 80s. And these guys were cool, man. I mean, super cool. So I do that and things like that. But the point is, we talk about these things in our private chat, in our private Substack. So we have subscriber-only Substacks, and I'd like to do one where I go over the history of a spy named Christina Granville. And when I was in London, we were given a private tour at the old War Office of the suite that they made for her. It is the single most expensive hotel room I've ever seen. 3,000 great British pounds a night. And she was Churchill's #1 spy. And here's the kicker: the Churchill suite's cheaper. So I'm like, what the hell? So that being said, let me
You're rubber banding for a little bit.
go off now because we've gone over. But sorry, Watch. Yeah,
You're
because
okay.
somebody called me. Okay, let me talk to you all. Let me talk to you all tomorrow. Thank you for coming.
One
Be sure to
second.
like and subscribe. Black Man Spy. Oh, Wajeeh.
Yes, administration. Today I have an interview with Dr. Rehab, a Middle Eastern professor that specializes in anti-terrorism. You're welcome to join us. We're discussing how the United States is losing its foothold in the Middle East. If you want to join us, we would love to have you. And if you're one of the viewers and want to learn more about how the U.S. is taking
You cut,
decisions,
Watch.
your screen froze. I think maybe it's the internet again.
Yeah. I'm good.
I was saying,
Anyway, we'll see
basically,
you on your chat.
did you hear what I was saying?
Yes, you have Dr. Rahab coming to talk about. Yep.
And I would love to have your opinion on that. If you are free to join us today, that would be awesome.
Okay, the rest of you, go see your ma. If your ma's not with us, go think about your ma and do something nice. It's Mother's Day. If you're a husband and you got kids, you better be taking your wife out somewhere, or at least bring her a margarita or a Bellini or something nice, because it's Mother's Day. It's sunny where I'm at in upstate New York. I hope it is for all of you too. Okay, we will see you all tomorrow, this same time. If you want, I will actually be on at 11 o'clock with the Save America movement, where we'll be having a discussion with Steve Schmidt and Ken Harbaugh. So take care, and you'll see that, by the way, on Substack. So take care. See you all later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.